I'm Paul with PishTech. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the upcoming app, Fly Tying Simulator. This will be included with the complete package in Fly Fishing Simulator HD, where you'll be able to use the flies you create in the fishing simulation. And this will also be available as a separate app for those just interested in the fly tying. Until the app releases, you can try out a beta version in your web browser on flytyingsimulator.com. When you open the app the first time, this is what you'll see. To start tying a new fly, let's tap New Fly up here. We can tie flies in guided mode or unguided mode. Guided mode will have us choose a type of fly and go through the steps to make one in a realistic order, showing us only the appropriate choices for components and materials. We'll take a look at unguided mode later, but for now, let's pick guided mode. We have quite a few options, including different styles of dry flies and wet flies, nymphs and streamers. Let's go with the classic catskill style dry fly. We'll see a description of the type of fly we picked, and we have the option to back out and pick something different, but we'll go with this. In the upper left, we'll see a button for the current step in tying our fly. That always starts with a hook. Since we picked a catskill fly, our only option is a standard dry fly hook. Once we have a hook, the view will move in for a closer look. On the sides and the bottom are controls for the view. You can zoom in and out, turn the rotary vise head, or turn the entire vise. There's a button in the upper right to recenter the view. There's also a little play pause button in the lower right that will slowly rotate the hook and vise slightly over time. That may help you get a better perspective as you're tying flies. Above the zoom control is a button for the settings. There's a checkered panel behind the fly to help make it easy to see your fly no matter what material colors you use. And you can change that panel by tapping Background. You can adjust the color and the background pattern with these sliders. You can also switch to rotary tying mode. Tying with rotary techniques involves wrapping materials by turning the hook rather than moving the materials around them. Let's close the settings screen and keep working on our catskill dry fly. Our next step is to add thread. Now we can start to get creative. We'll pick a thread and see a bobbin show up and lay down the base wraps of thread on the hook shank. Our next step is the wings. While most fly components are tied in order from rear to the front, it's common to tie wings in first on a catskill dry fly so the wraps that tie in the wing can be covered by the body. So we'll add wings, specifically dry fly wings and paired upright wings for this fly. We'll have some choices of materials for those wings. You'll notice an info button next to each option. That will bring up a brief explanation of the material or fly component. Let's choose a hackle tip. For hackles, we have quite a few color choices. There are natural hackle colors, both solid colors and barred like grizzly and cree, and badger and furnace colors with the dark center and lighter edges. Besides the natural colors, we have lots of choices for dyed solid color hackles and also dyed grizzly and dyed badger hackles. Let's go with the grizzly hackle dyed a light brown color. If we change our minds, we can always back up and make a different choice. Let's try cream ginger. Next, we'll add a tail. Again, we have a few options for materials. We'll go with hackle barbules. Let's go with badger hackle dyed the same cream ginger color. Now we'll add the body. Let's pick dubbing. We could go with fur or some man-made fibers. We'll pick fur and let's try Australian opossum. Next, we'll pick a hackle. Dry fly, so it floats well. Standard dry fly, meaning it's wrapped around the front section of the hook shank. And we'll go with a natural hackle in honey dun color. Lastly, we'll add the head, tying off the thread, and our fly is done. Let's rotate it around and get a good look at the finished fly. And now let's save the fly. With the flies you've saved, you can view the recipe, you can simply load it, or you can choose Retie to watch the fly get made again. So that's an example of guided fly tying. It's the easiest way to create flies in any of those common styles. If we want to get more advanced, we can try unguided mode. Let's make a new fly that way. To start with, we have a lot of hooks to choose from. The info button by each type will explain the features of that hook. Let's choose a short wet fly hook. Now we have the option of adding a bead head before we start wrapping the thread. Let's add a gold bead. In unguided mode, you'll often see this adjustment button. With that, you can modify the component you're adding. In this case, it gives us options for the bead size. There's also an X button for deleting the last material you added. Let's remove the bead, and this time we'll add some thread. Let's make something colorful. Now, since we're in unguided mode, we can pick from a long list of fly components and add them in any order. It's up to us whether we add components in a realistic order. Let's go ahead and add a tail. Again, we have a lot of material to choose from for a tail. Let's go with hair, calf tail, dyed a teal color. Now let's have a look at the available adjustments. We can change the tail's angle, how thick a bundle of hair to use, how much to fan those hairs out, and how long to make the tail. Let's add a butt section of peacock herl, and then a body wrapped with pheasant tail fibers. You'll notice that some of the materials that are naturally lighter in color will make vivid colors when they're dyed. In the case of pheasant tail that are naturally brown, the dyed colors are a bit more muted. We'll go with the natural brown. Then we'll add a rib. Let's pick tinsel, then flat tinsel, and we'll go with gold. Now let's add a second rib just for fun, this time with red wire. In the real world, you'd tie in your ribs, then wrap the body, then wrap the ribs. But we've got extra freedom in unguided mode. Let's add a hackle. Let's add a standard wet fly hackle, which is a hen hackle, and we'll choose the style. We'll go with a tied down collar, and we'll go with teal to match the tail. Now we'll add a wing, wet fly style. We'll make it a pair, and we'll pick quill sections. Let's go with dyed colors, and let's try plum. So far, so good. But now let's get fancy. Some materials like bucktail, marabou, and dubbing allow different colors to be mixed or stacked together. Quill sections can be married, combining sections from feathers of different colors into a single piece. We're going to combine the wing that we just added with another color. This time, we'll pick natural colors and make a section of teal wing to give the fly some stripes. To be clear, this is teal the bird, not teal the color. Now let's go ahead and do that again, but this time we'll go with scarlet. And then we'll add another layer of teal. And finally, another layer of plum. If we're finally satisfied, we'll add a head and the fly is finished. As you can see, there are a lot of materials in a lot of colors that can be made into a lot of components. You may enjoy using Fly Tying Simulator to explore ideas for flies, whether you want a really accurate imitation of an insect or other fish prey, or something unique and visually striking. Again, until this is released as a feature within Fly Fishing Simulator HD and as a separate app, you can try the online beta version. Just go to flytyingsimulator.com and click Launch Beta Web Version. There's also a demo mode. If you tap Start Demo, you'll see it demonstrate over 90 different flies. I hope you'll check it out and let me know what you think. You can contact me at flyfishing@softwareforfishing.com. Thanks.